Europa Universalis 4, but hold on a second. What is this map? Oh my god, is this an actually historical accurate depiction of EU4? Yes it is, sir. We do have today a little bit of Beyond Typus, one of my top 5 favorite mods, and in my opinion, a mod that blends historical accuracy extremely well with actual playability, because unlike most mods in EU4, this mod doesn't really take a NASA computer in order to play, and it does still offer an insane amount of gameplay, flavor, and unique experiences in a historical setting. And I know what you're thinking, guys. Ludi, why don't you play Voltaire's Nightmare for comparison? You know what? If we get 4,000 likes on this video, we'll do a Voltaire's Nightmare highlight next. Now I am actually going to play a proper game as Brandenburg in Beyond Typus, a nation that I've never played before. I know it's amazing. Ludi, how did you even think about playing Brandenburg? I don't know. I just thought, you know what, let's just play the first nation that starts with the B, and we'll go with that. The mission tree itself is fairly similar to the vanilla mission tree, but Beyond Typus adds up on the experience for Brandenburg with more than just missions. Now, it does seem like we have a lot of people voting for us to become the next top model, or as I like to call it, the Emperor of the so we can go ahead and get that mission done. The game itself is basically the same like vanilla, pretty much the exact same metas as vanilla, which is why we're going to give the +1 mana privilege for all 3 of the estates, and then afterwards seize crownlands and leave it as that. We want to have as low influence as possible, so we grab as much crownlands as possible from our neighbors when we conquer their provinces. There are some differences from vanilla though. As you probably noticed, we do have a development point alongside the other military, diplo, and admin power, and you use the development points in order to, you guessed it, develop your provinces. In order to get development points, there's a few ways. In essence, the more development you have, the more development points you increase. So it's kind of weird, but like if you're playing as the Ottomans, you can actually develop your provinces faster because you get way more development points. It does make sense in a way. I guess it's a way of showing how big nations have an easier time scaling faster, and that's why we're gonna attempt to become a bigger nation ourselves. There's some differences from the base game, such as we can form the Kingdom of Prussia as long as we have 300 development and 25 prestige, as well as being ourselves one of the Protestant religions. We don't need to have admin tech 10 for that, which is honestly really cool. I wish this was in the base game actually, but unfortunately it is not. We also have some unique interactions. By spending our actual power points, we get monthly extra benefits, so we can, for example, increase the amount of development points we get by spending 1 of each mana points, or we can get professionalism, innovativeness gain. We can get even diplomats and merchants out of this. So yeah, it's basically whatever you feel like you want to go for. It can be pretty beneficial, especially if you say need more missionaries to more quickly convert provinces. Again, I like this a lot. I genuinely wish this was in the base game as well. And before we go ahead and we basically conquer everybody around us, I want to show you guys a little bit the map, because you might be used to the regular 1444, but the reality is that there are some inaccuracies in the actual 1444 map that are not so inaccurate in this mod, starting with the Balkans, from where we have the Byzantine Empire. Well, you see, the Byzantines in our particular mod here doesn't just have 3-4 provinces, they've got a lot of provinces. But don't let that fool you, because no matter how many provinces the Byzantines got, well, the Ottomans have a lot more. What's cool though is that we have some nations here like Gazaria, which is a subject of Genoa. We've got Lesbos as well, which is a subject of the Byzantines. The Byzantines did actually retain control over all of these islands. We even have the little foothold of Aino belonging to Lesbos in Gelibolu, or close to Gelibolu. Wallachia unfortunately does have some provinces that are not theirs anymore, but they do have the cores. Remember that Wallachia did lose the Dobruja part just a few years prior to the start date of the campaign. This is not super accurate though. They kind of gave the Ottomans way more provinces than they should have. The Ottomans did own a fort along the Danube on an island actually, but not 2 actual entire provinces. I do like to see what they did though, where they tried to show how this fort was used to basically enforce the tribute on the Wallachians later down the line. We also have the famous, by this point, Lovish holdout, the last holdout of free Bulgarians in the fortress of Lovech, which fell a little bit after 1444, and is probably the only mod that does depict this, if I'm not mistaken. Probably also the toughest nation to start in the mod with. I'm actually curious if anyone's ever done a Lovech campaign and beyond typus and actually survived. In the east, the Muscovites have a lot more subjects, and there's a lot more smaller principalities here overall. We've got Vorotinsk, Serpukov, Ozaisk, and so on. The Muscovites start with 6 subjects rather than 4 or 5, whatever they start in vanilla. The Kazanis are also a little bit bigger, as are the Great Horde, which have significantly more development compared to the base game. Similarly, the Crimeans have more lands, whilst Kiev is just a vassal of Lithuania rather than directly being a part of Lithuania, and this is actually a lot more accurate. I'm glad to see that they did this. Similarly, Samogitia is also a subject of Lithuania. We have to remember that Samogitia was reintegrated into Lithuania just a few years back when the rebellion started, at the point where Samogitia was a part of the Teutonic Order for a period of time, which led to the war that brought about the downfall of the Teutonic Order. You actually see this war at the start date of EU5 in 1337, but I'm going to talk about that in the future maybe. Speaking of the Teutons though, they also start with some subjects. They have 4 major subjects, and that will pose some bigger challenges for us as Brandenburg actually when we try to take over the Prussian lands, if we manage to, of course. We might have some issues with the Poles that also want to get their hands on the Teutonic lands. Some other big shocking things are the nation of Bourbonnais being absolutely massive. It is still an appanage, but it does have around 12 provinces. Provence is also a lot bigger, and that's actually very historical. Glad to see that happen. It is, however, a junior partner of Anjou, with Anjou being a separate country that has not only a Provence, but it also has Barra and Lorraine as junior partners, with Monsieur, or better yet, Duke René I of Valois being the leader of all 4 different entities. René also had leadership over multiple other areas of Europe at some point, which is why we have that juicy mission in the base game and in this mod as well, that allows us to get our claims, either cores or PU restoration over Naples at one point. We also have Arborea alongside Sardinia, separately shown as subjects of different types of Aragon, with Corsica actually being still alive in a part of the Corsican island, which was divided in 4 different parts, most of which under control of the Genoese. And speaking of, one of my personal favorite parts to play in this particular mod is actually the Italian peninsula, because we have so many little nations here, including nations that we already know are gonna exist in EU5 at the start date of EU5. Some of these are shown as banking nations, whilst in this particular mod they're not banking nations. They still are extremely strong. And look at the development here, 37 development in Firenze alone. Milan also has 39 development, and the extremely tiny city of Venice has 37 development, albeit it also extends into the mainland, not just the island itself. Speaking of development though, you can really see a clear cut of massive difference between the east and the west, as well as along the Nile. Check out the high amount of development along the Nile, and then the 3 development right next to it. That is just delicious to look at. Oh, hold on a second. Why is there so much development in Africa? I just wrote, okay, this is weird. Why does parts of Africa have 24 development? They've got more development than most of Europe. Okay, interesting choice. Maybe because there's less provinces, they wanted to show higher development to make the country stronger, I would assume. Not sure, but I'm assuming that's why. Also, cultural wise, there's been some massive changes. Starting from the Middle East, we have Turkish added in the same group as Azerbaijani and Turkmeni, alongside the Turkomans, which still exist. The Greeks also still have some remnants of the old Byzantine cultures in Anatolia, with Cappadocian Greeks, as well as Pontic Greeks, Gothic Greeks, and even Cypriot Greeks, all spread around the Anatolian parts and the island of Cyprus, as well as, of course, the Black Sea in general. We've got the A-Romanians added to the Romanian culture group, which seems to be significantly smaller than it should be, but then again, you know, I am Romanian, so of course I'm gonna say that, right guys? Balance-wise, it's pretty bad for the Basques. Cossacks because they're by themselves, but this is historically accurate. Andalusi is surprisingly in the same culture group with Moroccan, Maghrebi, Fezani, Masriki, Bedouin. Oh, okay, it's basically in the greater Arabic culture group. We also have some additions to the Germans. We've got the Low Silesians and even the Carpathian Germans, whilst the English saw a division with Northumbrian being a separate culture, and even Old English. That's the first time seeing this actually. We see the beginning of the assimilation of the Bretonians and Brittany, and we have two separate cultures. We have the Bretons and we also have the Gallos, which are part of the French culture group. The Finnish group is significantly bigger too, and we also have Estonian alongside Livonians, and even the Uralzi, Ostiaks, and Samoyeds in the Siberian parts. Cultures are not old though. We also have some new trade goods such as fruits, which is something that you need to get some more of. That's right, I'm looking at you, Charlie. Yeah, that's right, Charlie. I'm calling you out especially, Charlie. You need to eat some bananas, my boy. How long has it been since you left the house, huh? Explain that to me. Why have you been playing E4 this whole time? You need to take a break and you need to go out and get some bananas, okay? Promise me you'll do it, Charlie. Promise me. We also have books here, which give us institution spread plus 20%. Of course, it wouldn't be a Germany game without some actual beer that gives local unrest, so that's actually pretty accurate. Also, like the distribution of the goods is pretty well done in my opinion, and they've definitely done some research for this. There's silver as well, with silver being basically the new gold, which also makes Bohemia extremely rich, as you would imagine. There's a significant amount of gold, or better yet silver, in Central Europe, so if you play as the Habsburgs, you might end up being filthy rich. But we'll get into what else the mod offers as we progress. Let's go ahead and get our rivals first. We'll go for Magdeburg, Stettin, and why not even Lüneburg. They rivaled us, we might as well rival them back, right? I'm gonna get some spy networks around too in apparently my rivals areas. I will try to get an alliance with the current HRE Emperor, which is Friedrich III von Habsburg, the leader of Styria. We secured the Diplo relations slot, so we're getting very closer now to actually being able to get the alliance, as well as get some alliances with the bigger electors, obviously, such as the Palatinate is a good choice, and even Saxe-Wittenberg. That is enough, though. We only have 3 Diplo relation slots, and we're not gonna go over that anytime soon. Wait a second, I just realized Stettin does not actually start with the fortification. I could just go for a humiliation war. Oh my god, yes please. Let's get that mana point, shall we? And we just got the fate of Newmark. Yes please. Thank you very much. Okay, well, now it's, I'm not even gonna go for the humiliation anymore. I'm actually gonna go for the full-on conquest now, since we just gained permanent claims on the, Pomeranian provinces. That's right, all of this is gonna be ours now. And of course, they ally everyone as soon as we got the claims. Come on, Stettin, really? And Stolp allied Poland. Okay, so we basically cannot attack anyone, can we? Well, we had a little bit of good luck there for like a literal second. Guess we're gonna have to suffice with Kamen over here. GG's Kamen. That was a pretty intense battle, I guess, but yeah. Hey, on the bright side, Kamen's actually going to give us access to the sea, so we can actually start building some barks. Kolberg. Why do they call it that? Is it because it's cold in that berg? I got the worst jokes, by the way. If you subscribe to the channel, we're trying to reach 230,000 subs by May 20th, which I know is never going to happen, but I'm still trying, okay? But hey, if you do subscribe, you get the coldest berg jokes, which is codename for horrible jokes you'll ever imagine. Time to hire the not-so-free company, because we're going to have a bigger war. We're going to be attacking a bigger alliance here, namely Magdeburg, Stargard, and Stettin, because we need to expand our borders. We also basically have no aggressive expansion. Everybody loves us, so we need to change that. I'm not going to co-belligerate anyone, because reality is, I don't want to have to fight half the HRE. So we're just gonna take a little bit of extra aggressive expansion for taking Stargard, but the rest we should be fine. I'm not taking anything from Magdeburg, only primarily taking Stettin lands. And it's Jover Stargard. God damn, Magdeburg actually had a proper army, boys. Oh my Schnitzeldorf. And emphasis on the past tense here. Had. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the world's fastest siege of a province ever. Now, boys, it's time for the big decisions here. What are we going to be doing? Are we going to be taking anything from Magdeburg and just completely destroy our aggressive expansions? Because that's like 39 AE. No, we're not going to do that. We're not crazy here, are we now? We're going to go for the humiliation and a little bit of this and that just so we make a little bit of money out of them. There we go. And we're also going to be fully annexing Stargard just because we all know this is rightful Brandenburgian clay. It's no doubt about it. Hey, that's actually part of Mecklenburg, which means technically it means Mecklenburg's also rightful Brandenburg clay too, isn't it? Of course it is. Did you even question that? Holy mother of God, I just realized coring takes 1 trillion freaking years. That is insane. That is actually insane. That makes me wonder, should I even fully annex this now, or should I just vassalize Stettin? No, I'm taking it. It's mine. I saw it first, and I don't give a shit. I just need land. Thank you very much. I am a big addict of having a lot of land. We also went over 50 power projection from basically flat out wiping out one of our former rivals. Of course, the next rival is going to be Mecklenburg, since we all know Mecklenburg owns our land, and we cannot accept that, can we now? Let's go, Mecklenburg. Time to pay for your dues. Hold on a second. We can attack these baddies, and then we can take land from Mecklenburg and Dithmarschen. Oh my god, I am on literal fire right now. Let's Gucci Strombolucci. And we can also pay off one of our loans, which is pretty good. We have only one loan left. I'll be honest, I kind of did this because I'm hopeful that us being at war means that the HRE Emperor is not going to ask us for unlawful territory. So I'm basically trying to be at war for as long as I need to core these provinces up. Oh no, Ruben, what happened to the army? About the same that's going to happen to the Mecklenburgian army over here in a second. There you go. Time for Carpeticus Sigicum. I do have to say, I really enjoy the difference when you play with these kind of mods. Because, like, for example, in Beyond Typus, it's actually a little bit more difficult to do some of the base stuff. Like I just showed earlier, coring up provinces is slightly more difficult. And it's not just that. Like, developing provinces is a lot more difficult. Look at this. Because we are at war, we have war exhaustion, overextension, etc. It lowers the amount of development points that we get, so it encourages you to basically be at peace in order to play toll. So the longer you're at peace, the more prosperity you have in your land, and the better off you're leading your nation, the more development points you get in order to help you play toll, which is actually very accurate. That's in essence what playing toll should be like, right? Also, I actually really enjoy the fact that forts fall a lot faster in this mod. I noticed, guys, forts are significantly easier to take. I'm guessing it's because most provinces only have the capital fort. I mean, look at this. Rupen fell in 128 days, and it was similar fish variant as well. Now, we're gonna have to deal with the aggressive expansion, so we're probably not gonna be taking anything from Mecklenburg in this war. Just gonna do a little bit of humiliation and a little bit of money-o takeo. Give me all your money, basically, sort of situation. We're also up to 20% crownland, so now we can actually start properly doing our estates. It's going to be a pretty standard estate, basically, for the clergy. We're going to hold out on the Clerical Advisory Council and the Nobility and Burgher similar privilege until we go to above 30 loyalty equilibrium. Otherwise, we literally get debuffs, so we don't want to give these privileges out just yet. For the Nobility, we'll give the Nobility and the Officer Corps increased levies, obviously, as well as supremacy over the crown. And now our equilibrium is at 40%. We do need to give more privileges out if we want to actually make this a viable campaign. Obviously, we're going to give the financial demand. Also, check it out. We have 500 governing capacity. It's almost like the game's asking us to expand, isn't it? Seeing as we don't actually have any heretics or heathens, religious culture is actually really good privilege too, but it does mean we're down to 15 crownlands, so we're going to have to get that back up to 20. And if we want to go above 50, we also will have to give out the oversight by the clergy, because we really need that extra equilibrium. Same goes for the nobility and for the burghers especially. We want to give out the free enterprises as well as the right of counsel. It's one of the few times you actually want to give these out. Normally, in vanilla at least, I don't give them out much. But in this case, it kind of has to be given. Oh, wait a second. We have 175 development? Wait a second. Do we start with higher base development? I think we do. That's crazy. We're an actual developed nation. I am in love with this already. I feel like what I'm going to do is I'm going to consolidate the northeastern parts of Germany, and then I'm not going to expand anymore. I'm just going to develop my province and just play as tall as I possibly can play. Also, guys, check it out. The HRE actually has 151 princes. This is as close to reality as we can possibly get with this. Is just I'm so into this mod. I might actually even play more nations. I was actually thinking about doing a Florence campaign with Beyond Typus. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Oh, and building wise, guys, there are a lot of extra buildings, including road networks, granaries that lower devastation and increase your development points, but we do need to get higher admin to unlock most of these juicy buildings, of course. Also, the trade nodes, as you would imagine, have different values now. English Channel is at 13, but then we have 10 in Saxony, 13 in the Rhineland or Frankfurt node now, because it was basically cut in two. We have Frankfurt and we have Köln as two nodes rather than the Rhineland. Also, Venice is not an end trade node. Same goes for the Genoese, not an end trade node. We do have the English Channel as an end trade node, and I think that actually might be it, isn't it? Is there another end trade node? I don't think I've seen any other one. Do we have only one end trade node? That's insane then. Well, these guys have unconditionally surrendered, so we do have to enforce our demands. We cannot just be at war with them forever. Ooh, that feels bad, but it is what it is. Hey, at least on the bright side, we managed to get most of the middle mark state. We're just missing one province in Gössen, but not to worry, we're getting our claim on Gössen as we speak. Well, guess what, boys? Styria managed to inherit Austria, and that gave us the alliance, which means that now we don't need to worry about the emperor asking us for unlawful territory, which is good, I guess, but it means we're also over the Diplo relation, so we might have to get rid of Hesse as an ally. I'm sorry, Hesse, I love you, but not that much, okay? You're not worth one Diplo point. Ooh, a traveling minstrel. Yeah, sure, don't mind if I do. Wait, does that increase our development points gathering? It does! Positive stability increases the amount of development points. That's cool. And you know what? I feel like I can sneak a couple more provinces in here. I mean, most nations don't hate me that much. Maybe we can grab a couple of provinces from Lüneburg or someone like that. Wait, you can encourage development as an edict. What? That's cool. Apparently all the provinces I'm conquering have 100 autonomy, so I'm basically getting nothing out of them. This makes Conquest a lot more brutal in this particular mod, since you basically go down to 75, I would assume, after you lower autonomy once you fully core the province, right? I can feel the nervousness coming out of the troopers here of Zossen. Also, kudos to them. They actually have 4,000 units. Most nation I fought had only 3,000, so that means they're pretty strong, okay? In my eyes, they are the strongest, but I'm still gonna murder their ass, so whatever. Ooh, and Anhalt does have a fortification. That's gonna be a little bit more complicated to take that. Guess we're gonna have to just chase down their units first in order to make things a little bit more easy for us. There you go. That's Anhalt's entire army right there, about to get decimated by us. And we're gonna do the same to Rus, or Rus. How do you pronounce this, German people watching this? I'd appreciate you telling me that, because I feel like this sounds too French when I say Rus, right? But I mean, what is French if not just Western Germanic, am I right? Guys, a historical day indeed. We're gonna do our very first development click. We're gonna spend 18 development points to develop the province of Berlin. Boom! One production development. Oh my god, I feel so good about this right now. Only took us 6 years to get that one dev click, by the way. Just a mere 6 years. Is it weird that I kind of like that, though? I feel like that's such a good thing for some reason. Ooh, we're also the first ones to get for Diplo technology. Yay! Guys, I'll tell you a little secret. So I just got my claim on the province of Rostock in Mecklenburg. Do you know how I know about this province, or better yet, this city? I used to play this really old game called Patrician when I was a kid, and I used to trade so much stuff. It's basically like a trade game. I used to trade with the city of Rostock between this and Aarhus or something, and Bergen actually in the north, and I used to make so much money off of trading beer. The people here love the beer for some reason. Okay, let's go ahead and make Anhalt a vassal. Buyeshko Gidongs. So the reason I'm making these guys a vassal is because they do have that juicy fortification in the province already. So having them as a vassal means every single war the enemy is going to be trying to go for this fort, and that gives me a lot of time to just do my own stuff until I'm ready to fight back against them. Now Zossen, of course, is going to be fully annexed, because now we have the entirety of the middle mark state, Curius Maximus, and let's also lower the autonomy. Wait, what? Why can I not lower the autonomy? Houston, we might have a problem. I'm not sure why I cannot lower the autonomy, but I'm scared. Somebody hold me. Oh, that's so cool. The marketplace actually gives development points. That's nice. I'm gonna do that. Let's get a marketplace in Berlin, and maybe another one in Brandenburg. Why not? Oh, the buildings are 25. That's so cheap. And the Austrians inherited Tyrol, so Austria is just becoming insanely overpowered all of a sudden. I'm just gonna improve my relations with them more, just to be on the safe side. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do some curry favors with them. Oh, I get it, guys. So I wasn't able to lower the autonomy because of separatism. So separatism increases autonomy in this mod. That makes a lot of sense. You know what? That would actually be pretty cool to implement in the base game, if I'm being honest. This does make one think, is it worth it? Because you taking all of these extra provinces, you eventually will have to fight the separatists. By the time you actually get rid of separatism, it's gonna take a really long time, and in that entire process, you're gonna have really high autonomy in the provinces, right? Like, we're still up to 66 autonomy, and we took this province like 8 years ago. Kind of means like you want to expand early, but you also want to take big breaks between expansions, because if you expand really fast, you don't give your provinces time to actually be proper part of your country, lower that separatism, then you're going to collapse your economy. It also means that ideas that lower separatism are going to be in high demand now. So humanist ideas might literally just be the best idea group in the game. Also curious to see what kind of monuments they added in this game, because I hope we have some juicy stuff. We have the Brandenburg Gate, which is basically the same like in vanilla, but we also have the Sanssouci here, which gives improved relations, a yearly absolutism, and nobility. Okay, that's average. I'll be honest, I've never seen actually decent monuments added to the Germanic area in any mod so far, so I will be... Oh my god. Okay, I take everything back. This is crazy. Development cost reduction, advisor cost, diplo reputation, and max promoted cultures. Okay, well, this mod definitely is doing it right. The All Ministry is not too bad either, though, but it could be better. Aula Palatina gives missionaries. Not bad, not bad. The Aachen Cathedral gives a little bit of tolerance to the true faith. Meh. And this is basically the same like in vanilla. Oh, the Danes get a monument. That's so cool. Naval tradition from protecting trade. Well, that's just useless. We got the Leaning Tower of Pisa, culture conversion cost reduction, promote culture cost, a lot of new monuments in Spain. Santiago de Compostela and Madrid has another monument right next to it in Segovia. Legitimacy, army drill gain modifier. In the south, we have the Torre del Oro, which means the Golden Tower, national manpower, and yearly professionalism. Ooh, if you mix that in with this, then you get insane amounts of professionalism. That feels a little bit broken if you upgrade this to maximum, of course. Cordoba also has the Mosque Cathedral, war score versus other religions, and missionary strength. Okay, buddy, so what you're telling me is that you want us to play as Spain, don't you? The Valley of the Temples. Interesting. Culture is Greco or Roman or pagan. Ooh, a little bit of a Roman Empire monument right there, I guess. A lot of new monuments in Greece, apparently. Mount Athos, which is, by the way, one of the most sacred places, the monastery on Mount Athos for Orthodox people. It gives yearly tax income plus 6 flat and a few other bonuses here. And Mount Olympus as well. Advisors, institution spread, reform progress. Theodosian walls. Ooh, leader siege. That's just rude to put that in, isn't it? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of monuments. And honestly, there's just so much flavor to this mod. I'm really falling in love with it. I'm actually even do a couple of streams with this if you guys are up for it. But I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this little highlight. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.